What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Black Desert Online. You're going to have some gameplay going on in the background. Again, this is closed beta 1. There's a lot of little things still to be worked out and hashed out, which should happen before closed beta 2 testing, which there is no announced date yet. The game is scheduled to release in the first quarter of 2016 sometime, or that's the anticipated for North America and Europe, and it is a buy-to-play model in Europe and North America, just as FYI. So you're going to see some stuff going on in the background. Don't get too involved in it. When we get into closed beta 2, we'll really get into the whole system. I'll kind of get much more detail because things will be hashed out. There's a lot of changes usually between 1 and 2, so forth and so on. So that's when we'll kind of really get into it when we follow up on further videos. But for now, let me tell you a little bit about the game, kind of give you some insight and some stuff here for the next few minutes, if you will. And then what we'll do after I've gone through all that, give you some information, we'll get into the menu system that exists in the game as it is, just so you can see the visual menus and the different things that are going on and how complex and detailed the game is in terms of character development and such. Anytime, please feel free to leave comments and questions. The closed beta will actually be closing up this first beta on December 22nd in the morning, so I probably won't have too much more to release for now, but just kind of give you some information about it. And like I said, we'll do a lot more coverage into closed beta 2. I did have some issues with internet stuff over the weekend, so I didn't get as much time in this game as I'd like to have, but I got a solid amount that I can kind of give you some information about it. So let's talk a bit about the game here. It's an upcoming sandbox-oriented, massive multiplayer role-playing game by a Korean company called Pearl Abyss. The game has been in development since 2010, so it's been out there for a while. And like I said, in Europe and North America, the game is scheduled to be a buy-to-play model. In Korea, Japan, Russia, it is actually a free-to-play model. So I'm not really sure on all the details of how that lays out in terms of buy-to-play for us yet. Being published by DM Games here in the US, or here in the west side of things, if you will. Europe and North America versus Korea, Japan, Russia, that type of stuff. It's basically a fantasy setting. It revolves around the conflict between two nations, the Republic of Calphion and the Kingdom of Valencia. Okay, in terms of combat, Black Desert combat, it's action-based skills that can actually be achieved through use of combos, and you'll learn new skills as you rank through, and we'll kind of go through that. There is a lack of healing class in here in terms of classes, and so you're going to have to rely on well-dodged timing and blocking as well as potions, which you'll probably see me using a little bit in some of the edited video in the background. Mouse and keyboard's fine. Gamepad, I did not try, but seemed the gamepads will be supported as well, controllers and such, so that should be fine. But most, I wouldn't say all, but I would say most people that play this type of game will actually be using keyboard and mouse. That's the way I would assume as a PC player. But to each their own. In a prior video we released what the classes are currently going to be on the initial release of the game. I'm sure more classes will be introduced because in the other version there are more classes. But what we've got is we've got the Ranger, the Sorcerer, we'll have the Berserker class, or what they would call in the other portion of the game, the Giant. We have the Tamer, we have the Warrior, and we have the Wizard. Like I said, there are other classes in the other version of the game. However, that's not what is being released at this time, or at least what's in closed beta 1 right now. But of course, anything is subject to change. So, some of the features in this game, it's got a parkour system in here. So you can climb, you can explore, you can interact with buildings, obstacles. You can do a whole bunch of different things. It's a dynamic worldwide weather system, which actually includes things such as large-scale events like typhoons that will influence the gameplay of the game. Localized weather includes things such as temporary fog, a little bit of rain, that type of stuff. I've had a little bit of it happen here and there, and you could use that to your advantage to launch surprise attacks on rival guild structures, so forth and so on. Seasonal weather changes, traveling to areas with different climates, so forth and so on. Warmer clothing, colder area, colder clothing. It also impacts the player's statistics. Okay, we've got the dynamic cycling, day-night cycling, with gradual progression of lighting effects. This actually does change things with your NPCs in game. So your NPCs can become unavailable as they return home while it becomes nighttime to avoid certain types of monsters, so forth and so on. So this kind of makes it a little bit different. Different game content will be available depending upon whether it's nighttime or daytime. So it's a little dynamic in that respect. Player housing. So you can have things from, say, a tent all the way up to a substantially sized house or building. We'll be able to furnish them, equip them. You can hire NPCs to take care of it, set up as traders from the building, that type of stuff. I haven't personally gotten into that part of this because I just didn't have that time, but that is there as an option. The active combat system, like we talked about, which you're going to see me doing some in the background. Nothing crazy, but manual aiming, dodging, comboing, very important here. Unlike a tab targeting system seen in other kind of MMOs, so it is a little bit more where you have to know what you're doing and you have to time things properly. And each class is going to definitely have its own strengths and weaknesses. In terms of other things here, players can engage with mounted combat as well. Mounts are acquired by taming in the wild, and players are able to breed special mounts by mating certain types. I hadn't really gotten into that, so I'm not sure how that works as of yet. But mounting will require feeding and care as well. They can't be stored in your inventory, and they can get killed. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. Again, now in prior video we went through the character creation and customization. There's a lot of that going on in this game as well. So that's what there is. You have, in terms of questing, there's a whole bunch of quests that go on, and you can grab so many quests that you can get lost in how much there is, even early in the game. Some quests are real quick and easy, some quests seem to take a little bit longer. You have the Black Spirit, which is basically your guide, and it's kind of a freaky little spirit that keeps popping up here and there. Once you finish a quest, it wants to talk to you, and it kind of guides you through the system, through the game. I don't want to talk about too much of it. The destinies are entwined on your search for answers concerning a source of power, which is the Blackstone. And the Blackstones are said to have corrupted the minds of ancients through their alchemy, causing the fall of their civilization. Okay, so they're commonly found in the desert between the capitalist republic and the Valencia kingdom that we talked about, the land of the absolute monarchy. So it's a little interesting. Like I said, there's some spots where there's voiceovers missing, I would say, but I'm sure some of this stuff will be put in, obviously. So some of it's kind of like really blank in where it is, and you can see that it's still a beta phase, and it does need some changes. So I mean, I've submitted a whole bunch of things in the process as well. But we have several. We have basically 6 classes, like I said, that'll be coming in there, and I did discuss that in a prior video, so you can get a better look at those. We've also got endless types of possibilities. So we've got your trading, you've got taming, you've got fishing and gathering, which I really didn't get too far into. You've got the crafting system, which is very detailed from what I can tell. Again, I didn't get a lot of time to spend in there. You've got the knowledge system, more knowledge, more power, more or less. And you got the housing system. So a lot of these things I touched on a little bit when I was playing, but I didn't touch on them a lot because I really want to wait for a number of changes that I want to see between the two beta phases, and that will kind of make a better determination on what I feel. But overall, I do like the way it's playing. I like the graphics. I like the style, the combat. It does run pretty smooth, so there's a lot to still go through. And in a moment here, what we'll do is we'll go into the menu system just so you can see it. It's very nice. It's done very well, very visual. So it's very easy to get around in. And then, like I said, we'll catch up more on the game when we hit beta phase 2, when I can get much more detailed with you, because a lot of things will be, I wouldn't say fully finalized, but will be better detail and a little bit more towards the finished product before it actually comes out. And again, like I said, it is a buy to play game. And currently in the pre-order stage, from what I can see, they've got 3 packages available digitally. One that starts at $30 US, and one that starts at $50, and one that is at $100. I shouldn't say starts, but is at $100. And they've got various things inside of there. BlackDesertOnline.com allows you to take a quick look at some more of the stuff, but we'll follow up. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll just hop right on into the menu system and kind of explore that. It'll take a little bit of time because there's a lot going on in there. You hit the escape key. The menu system's actually quite nice looking at it here. It's laid out visually so that way you can quickly find everything. So you've got your help, your hotkeys, F1 more or less, crafting, your dies, your coloring things, combined profile, inventory, the black spirit that kind of takes you through everything, quest, skills, guild, processing, fish guide, knowledge guide, or what we consider like a codex, if you will, your world map, escape, friends, mail, workers list. You can edit the UI as to how it all lays out. Your guild ranking, your ranking, notices, settings, channel shift, so you can change the channels that you're in and to disconnect, more or less. So let's say we come over to the edit UI, we can easily relocate pretty well just by dragging and dropping where everything is. It all works out nicely. Kind of everything is set where the boxes are not too big, that they're out of your way for the most part. I could just really drag the action combo guide all the way over here if I wanted to. Hit save, and now as you can see, it's all the way over here and mostly out of the way, but now it's kind of covering something, so I'd come back over here to the UI, shift it over to probably about here, so it's out of my main direct area. Hit save, and we're done. Hotkeys, if you click the hotkey help, okay, you can see everything, and it's laid out yet again real easily. Not too hard to find out where things are and what you want to click on, and then over time you kind of get used to all of these features. But what I do like is I really like the visual aspect of this. So then come over to crafting, which I haven't really had a chance to get too far into the crafting, but you've got a little bit of everything going on in here. As you'll notice, it's still all written, not all, but some of it's still written in Chinese from the actual original version of the game. This is being westernized more or less, so some of this stuff will eventually be moved, obviously during the beta phases, into the correct things, just to kind of give you an idea. But I mean, that's real simple. It's really nice the way that it die. Okay, so you can change your colors a little bit if you want to dye something. If you want to select the equipment, change things around. I didn't really get into the dyeing of items, to be honest, so we're not going to get into that this time around, that's for sure. Profile, you can see your profile, your information, character name, constellation, tendencies, energy, contribution points, my current level, where I am with HP, weight, the possession of things that you have. Oof. Action points, DP, stamina. There's a lot going on in here for you to kind of go through. And yeah, I mean, that's just the basics. And you have your title, progression and stuff. I haven't gotten to get very far through, obviously. But a lot of these will change as you go through progressing in the game. My adventure time, I've only been able to spend an hour so far. I had a lot of internet issues throughout the past weekend here. Not what I wanted to have happen. Your awakening, ancient stone chambers. So this is kind of like your timeline, your journal of everything that's going on. Tasks that are available, objectives, time, complete events, different things there as well. Your inventory system. So this is the stuff that you've got equipped. Yeah, obviously you have a lot of things that you can equip. You can just highlight over them to see them. So I got the militia longsword on here. I got a round shield, just a basic shield. Rebar armor, nothing too special at this point, but that is there. You've got your inventory. You've got a sub inventory even to put stuff in. You can auto arrange. You can see the weight that you've got on there and how many items you can have, stuff like that. You can change things around. And militia, second weapon box. So open that up. Now I've got a slightly better shield, if you will, right there. So all I got to do is right click and I can change to the slightly better shield. Okay? Just as simple as that. Let me come over to here. Just kind of give you guys ideas of everything. The Black Spirit, which is the thing that guides you through the game. Which will freak you out a lot. We'll get out of his way for now. Quests. So you can see your quest progress on the different quests and stories that are going on. The exploration, towns, everything that's happening in here. These are the quests I completed, where I'm at, so forth and so on. And all this stuff also shows up on the right hand side of your screen that you can go to anytime you need to. Skills. This is something that I really like. As you go through things, you can learn skills, learnable skills. This is kind of how you grow yourself. So I've got combat ranking in here. So as I've got my heavy strike, I've learned the kick, I've learned a chopping kick, I've learned a shield strike with a charged shield strike. Also have some evasion going on, meditation. So this stuff, I can guard. Charging slash now that I know. These things you learn as you progress through and you kind of build yourself up, build your tree, if you will, and your skills. So rank C right now, you progress into B, A, so forth. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything about the skill tree because I don't at this point. There's still a lot to learn. Okay, we have the guild. I have not joined a guild. That would probably because I would make a guild. Myself with the clan. Okay, production activity, of course. These are your crafting setups. I can't give you much information on this yet. I did not get into that, but we do have crafting. Your fish guide, different types of fish, freshwater, saltwater, crustacean, other. Again, not 100% on here. Only the rank of fish that are caught will be made public. So it's kind of a coding system. And there's probably something going on here. I can't really tell you 100% at this point, but I do like this. Obviously, probably something related to food, eating, maybe. Your knowledge, like I said, is kind of like a codex, if you will. Okay, different things going on. You can see as you gain knowledge, you can go through your journals, all the different things. These kind of really bring into questing system. And we'll get more into this in the further portion of the game as the beta 2 comes into play. Okay, but again, that's, you can see it's more or less a codex style system, which is kind of cool. I like the way it's laid out here. Real easy to work through. Your world map, of course, you can see where you're at. You can move it around. You can see the different things that are going on here, where I've passed through, what's coming up, where I want to go to, that type of stuff. No guild occupying, but this is basically it. We started over here. Lots of different things just by walking through it all. Real simple. I know, probably boring some of you guys, but I kind of want to go through this so you kind of get an idea of what's happening here. Friends, you want to see your friends, which I haven't listed anybody, but I should. Mail, again, the different things that are going on. Different testers, best friend, horse whisperer, different received mail type of stuff. Like that. There is an item enclosed, capturing rope. Oops. I can just capture all the rope that I want there, all the items, I can take them all, just like so. I can take it all, just like so. So this will let me go through your present. We'll get into these things a little bit farther down the road, if you will. Workers list, these are different workers in towns, more or less, if you will. Guild rankings, there you go. So you've got your guilds, which you can see how many members are in it, how many points they've got, the nodes that they're on, different territories, and there is some kind of guild PvP. I have not set up a guild, so I can't really tell you too much about it. But only with 20 or more members are guilds ranked, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue with the Nog army. If we get everybody to play it, it all depends. We'll see at this point. Your regular rankings, okay, skills, so forth. My gathering level is a C grade. You can go through training, all the different rankings that you want to have, wealth, farming, gathering, all that good stuff. Where are we? Did that at UI, rankings, notices. So there's things that they talk about that we know what's going on, what's working, what's not working, changes, more or less updates that come through the system. Settings, channel shift, so I can change. Right now I'm in currently channel 1, I can go 2, 3, 4, 5. Real simple to do. And that's really going to be based off of like how busy it is inside of the servers. And then you've got your game settings, of course, screen, audio, game, input, hotkeys, things you can change through all that. So that is there. So that kind of goes through the menu system as it is, which, like I said, I really like this whole visual UI inventory now because I added a couple items to it. Okay, and you can see the weight's a little bit more, that type of stuff. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, is still pretty much beta. No, it is beta, or closed beta. So there's a lot of things going on in here that you kind of will hope to see changes in for beta 2, and that's when I'll really kind of get into it with you guys, so we can kind of really see if everything's changed the way it should, bugs that have been reported, audio that's missing, that type of stuff in the game. And that's when, you know, I can give you a better idea of what I think about it. So far, though, like I said, it's pretty good. So if you do have comments or questions, please do leave them. I will try to address them as best as I can for now, but we will definitely keep them in mind until it is time into closed beta 2, which I don't know when that's going to be yet, and then we can address it at that point with a lot of questions and see what all the changes and everything that are going on. Until then, thanks for watching as always. I've entered the combat zone, and I will catch you guys soon in another episode. Thanks for watching as always.